Hello, everybody. Back
Hello.
again.
Oh, sorry. You can go ahead.
uh, we're here to finish our reading of Trust. Sorry if you may have thought I was dead. I almost was, but I am here, and here with my friend mulltifanficaday to finish this for all 82 people that watched the first one, at least when I last looked.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to say, Multi?
I am tired. So I apologize if I don't read all too well. Yeah.
All right.
What's this word?
Dash showed the book to Twilight, or Dash showed Twilight the book, pointing at the page in question. Twilight studied the word for a moment before blushing. Figures it would be that word, Twilight thought.
Paramore.
She said. Rainbow Dash gave her an expectant look. Chuckling in barely hidden embarrassment, Twilight continued.
It means lover.
Rainbow smiled happily.
Thanks, Twi.
She said, returning to her book. The minutes passed by quickly as they read in silence, marked only by Spike's occasional trips across the building, equipped each time with a stack of paper taller than he was. Twilight had made a few passing comments, telling him not to strain himself. The smell of cooking food pulled Twilight out of her book. Spike must have finished cleaning the guest room, Twilight thought. He's so helpful. I should ask Rarity if she has any extra gemstones to give him. Rainbow Dash's stomach broke the silence, issuing a loud growl that probably could have scared off an Ursa Major by itself.
Go out to the kitchen, Dash. I'll meet you there in a few minutes. I have to, go to the bathroom.
Dash raised an eyebrow, obviously analyzing her sentence, then shrugged nonchalantly.
Okay.
Twilight watched Rainbow disappear behind the wall of the kitchen, then tore off up the stairs toward her room. Twilight had been nursing an idea during her studies. The present she'd gotten Dash a few weeks ago. She wanted to give it to Rainbow now. She rifled through her bureau and found, I think that's how you say that.
It's
And
bureau.
oh, I've seen that word before too. I hate it when bureau, and found a thin sheet of paper. Smiling in triumph, Twilight grabbed it with her mouth and made her way back down to the kitchen. Upon reaching the entrance, she hid her gift in the crevice between her body and her foreleg.
Every night?
Rainbow Dash questioned Spike as Twilight entered. The young dragon hopped down from his stool in front of the stove and walked across the kitchen to the refrigerator.
Well, not every night.
He responded, opening the door.
But yeah, I do cook for Twilight a lot.
Oh. He retreated back to the stove, carrots in hand.
Don't you start with sob stories, young Drake.
Twilight declared indignantly.
You know perfectly well that you told me you didn't want me cooking anymore. Actually, I said I didn't want you poisoning us anymore.
He grumbled in response, eliciting a chortle from their guest. Twilight glared at her assistant before moving to sit across the table from Rainbow Dash. Ungrateful little miscreant.
So Spike, when's the grub gonna finish cooking?
Rainbow asked, leaning back in her chair.
Right now.
He said happily, pulling the boiling pot off the burner. He hopped down and made his way to the table, stumbling a bit from the weight of the soup. He poured a bit into both bowls, still smiling. Spike gave a meaningful look to Twilight, then excused himself to go eat with Owlicious. I wonder what that was all about, Twilight thought. Oh well. She accepted it as normal Spike behavior and began to eat dinner.
So, how's the book coming along, Rainbow Dash? Oh, great. You know, I never really liked books, especially not learning ones.
She began.
Non-fiction.
Twilight helped.
Yeah, that. But the one you gave me is really cool. Did you know that Spitfire was raised in Cloudsdale? She practiced for her auditions on the same street I grew up on.
Dash gushed excitedly. Twilight listened intently during dinner as Dash filled her with fun facts on Spitfire's life. She talked back very little, ecstatic to see her athletic friend so interested in reading.
You know, Rainbow,
Twilight said nervously, once they had finished eating. She reached under her seat and grabbed her gift. She had decided that dinner would be a good place to announce her affection for her friend.
I know you're a fan of anything Wonderbolt related, so I thought you might like this.
She slid the slip of paper across the table with a hoof. Rainbow gave her a quizzical look, but flipped it over and gasped.
Oh my gosh! Why? How did you get this?
Twilight smiled happily. She knew Rainbow would love an autographed picture of a Wonderbolt.
Well, let's just say Princess Celestia owes me a favor. Do you like it?
She asked courteously, already knowing the answer.
Do I like it? Why? It's an autographed picture of Spitfire. How could I possibly not like it? It's awesome!
She punctuated the last word with a quick spinning liftoff until she bumped her head on the ceiling.
Ow,
she grumbled, rubbing her head. Okay, Twilight. Twilight thought to herself. It's the moment of truth. Tell her. Blushing slightly, she said,
I'm glad you like it, Rainbow. You see...
But she was blocked from finishing when she found herself enveloped in a hug. Rainbow Dash squeezed her like a boa constrictor.
Oh, why? Thank you. Dash, can't breathe.
Twilight managed to choke out when Dash finished her speech.
Oh, sorry.
Rainbow said, once again rubbing the back of her head, now from embarrassment.
It's all right, Rainbow. I've been meaning to tell you.
Twilight was interrupted when Owlicious burst through the door, Spike hot on his tail.
Come back here, you little...
Spike sputtered enraged. The frightened owl took cover behind his owner. Oh, Celestia, can't I just have 5 minutes? Geez, it's not like I'm trying to be able to tell her all night. Twilight grumbled to herself.
What's going on here?
Twilight demanded of her dragon child.
He's being a jerk.
Spike defended.
I told him that story about Rarity and hoity-toity, and he just kept saying who the whole time. I must have explained who he was 12 times.
Multi.
Spike?
Twilight sighed.
Did it ever occur to you that who is what all owls say?
Spike dropped his gaze to shifting feet.
Yes, Twilight. Sorry. I'm not the one you should be apologizing to.
Twilight responded. Owlicious peeked his head around Twilight's mane.
Who?
He asked. Spike groaned.
Sorry, Owlicious. I guess I kind of got carried away.
The owl hopped off of Twilight Sparkle and flew over to Spike's shoulder.
Who? Oh, right. Okay. Who? I did. Who? I did. Hey, wait a minute.
The duo walked out of the kitchen, Spike laughing. Rainbow, standing beside Twilight, laughed as well.
Do those two ever give it a rest?
Twilight peered over her shoulder at the doorway.
About once a blue moon.
They shared a chuckle before Rainbow released a long yawn. I could tell her now, Twilight thought nervously. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm not going to tell her. I never do. I'm too much of a coward.
Here, let me show you to the guest room,
Twilight said, trying to hide the disappointment in her voice. As they walked up the stairs, Twilight realized that she was indeed cowardly. She was afraid to tell Rainbow her feelings, but it was more than that. Twilight was afraid of the unknown. This was the one thing that she could ask, and not be able to learn from a book.
Here it is,
Twilight said, presenting a small room on the far side of the tree. A bed stood on the right side next to the wall, flanked by a window. A bureau stood on the opposite wall, bare and empty. Twilight often wondered why a guest room would ever have a bureau, but never bothered to take it out. A desk stood next to the bureau. Spike had done an excellent job of cleaning up Twilight's notes, which had formerly coated the entire room. Twilight nearly breathed a sigh of relief. She didn't know what she would have done if her friend had stumbled upon that research. Die of embarrassment, probably. But she trusted Spike. He would never do anything that could possibly harm his friends. He probably triple checked for any loose papers.
Twilight, thanks again for letting me stay the night. I really appreciate it.
Rainbow said as she walked in and admired the room.
Yeah, Rainbow, anytime. That's what friends are for, right?
Twilight rambled anxiously, studying the floor, the bed, the window, anything but the beautiful mare before her. Dash placed her new photo on the desk, the golden inscription shining against the light. Always follow your dreams. Spitfire. The sight filled the lavender pony with a new vigor. Twilight took a deep breath. Forget fear. It was time to follow her dreams. Research was only going to take her so far. The time for action had arrived.
Rainbow?
She said tentatively. The Scion mare looked back over her shoulder towards the near-jittery friend.
Yeah?
The sudden exposure to Rainbow's beautiful crimson eyes caused Twilight to freeze in place. Come on, Twilight, the love-struck unicorn berated herself. Enough dancing around. Upon seeing her friend's expression, Dash's features softened up.
What's up, Twi?
The soothing, almost comforting tone helped Twilight to pull herself together.
Well, Dash, there's something that I need to tell you. Something important.
Intrigued, Rainbow Dash turned around to fully face Twilight and stepped closer.
What is it, Twi? You can tell me.
Twilight could feel her face getting hotter by the second. The amount of irony in that statement could sink a cruise ship. Was the role of nervous confessor not Rainbow's just a few hours ago? Twilight stared at the floor in a futile attempt to once more gather her thoughts.
Well, you see, for a while now.
Twilight attempted, once again looking at the floor, this time out of frustration. She wanted so badly to tell Rainbow Dash the truth, but she had no idea how to start. How many times had she practiced this into the mirror, to a wall, to Owlicious? How many times had she said it in her dreams, under her breath, in her mind, or even on paper? Obviously, Twilight was not built for verbal admissions.
Oh, forget it. Rainbow Dash, I love you,
Twilight said. She then leaped forward and planted her lips on her crush's own. It only lasted long enough for the Scion mare to overcome the shock. Pulling back furiously, Rainbow Dash growled at her friend and gritted her teeth.
Just what do you think you're doing?
Twilight stumbled back, falling onto her haunches, the look on Dash's face quite literally scaring her to speechless. Twilight couldn't believe what she'd just done. Her nerves got the better of her. She knew that. But that didn't change the facts. She knew it was coming. She'd just blown any chance she'd had with Dash right out of the proverbial water.
I opened myself up to you. I trusted you. I thought you would be better than that.
Rainbow cried angrily, stomping her hooves on the ground to emphasize her points. Twilight didn't understand what was going on at all. She could understand Rainbow not feeling the same way, but this was something else entirely. The young unicorn wanted to reach forward and comfort her friend, but she was afraid to touch her. She wouldn't get the opportunity, however, as Rainbow Dash had started pacing angrily around the room.
I expected this behavior from the bullies back at Junior Speedster Flight Camp, but not one of my best friends. Do you know how that makes me feel, Twilight? That you would mock me for something so personal that I never even told any pony until today?
Now, Twilight understood. Rainbow Dash thought Twilight was mocking her, insulting her friend's sexuality in the worst way possible, by pretending to share it.
Rainbow, I don't want to hear it, Twi. If it wasn't so darn windy, I'd already be out the door. Just leave me alone. As soon as the storm clears, I'm out of here. And don't worry, you'll never have to look at my filly-fooling face again.
Twilight stood, shocked as the mare of her dreams told her she never wanted to see her again. Her eyes stung. No. Burned.
Rainbow,
Snarling furiously, Rainbow cut her off once more.
But go away!
What? Okay. Rainbow bellowed, once more stamping her hooves on the floor. Oh, sorry. Your voice cut out there, so I lost my spot. Twilight sniffled a little as she once... Twilight sniffled as a little as the once only threatening tears began to fall. No, Twilight thought determinedly. I am not going to let her see me cry. The Scion pony let out a threatening snort and turned around to face the window. Tears now flowing freely, Twilight ran out of the room as fast as her hooves could carry her. Down the stairs, through the kitchen, and up the other stairs, past Spike, who she nearly hit in her blind sorrow, into her room and flung herself onto her bed. She released a long, anguished cry of frustration and heartbreak. Her worst fears had come true. Twilight had told Rainbow Dash about her feelings, but not only had she been rejected, no, something worse had come out of it. The worst possible scenario Twilight could think of. Rainbow Dash hated her now. Rainbow Dash sat, stewing in her own grief. She stared listlessly out the window at the stormy landscape, her tail flicking in annoyance every now and again. She made a move to once more wipe the tears from her cheeks. I can't believe Twi would do that, Dash thought. You think you know a pony. Thunder roared outside once more, echoing the pain in her heart. Dash tried to focus on something, anything to get her mind off the recent events. The waving grass, the sky, so gray that not one speck of the formerly beautiful blue wonderland could be seen. Even the flyers and stray pieces of trash danced in the wind, freed from their tin prisons. It was no use. She couldn't forget it. Twilight's outburst had struck too close to home. Memories of the bullies at flight camp had begun to resurface. The cruel ponies swarmed around her, throwing out names and cruel insults. But now there was a new face among them. A lavender unicorn pranced around her head, singing jovially.
I love you, Dashy. Love. No! Stop it! Stop it!
Dash screamed, wanting so bad to fight back, or to even fly away. But her parents' voices rung clear above the I have never seen that word before.
Cacophonous.
Thank you. Cacophonous cries of her classmates.
No more fights, please, Dashy.
Her father began.
I know it can be hard, but you can stand up for yourself without resorting to violence. I don't want to have to come and get you this early in the summer, honey. Promise me I won't have to. Suck it up, Squirt, her mother said curtly. You have to deal with bullies your whole life. If what they say isn't true, why should it hurt? You aren't one of those freaks, are you?
Wow. The voices blended together, striking her in waves, wrapping around her, tightening around her throat, choking her, rendering her helpless and unable to plead for mercy.
Stop it! Please!
She cried out as soon as she could, gasping for air. The ponies just laughed at her some more.
What's... Hold on. Hello. I'm kind of recording.
You want me to go away?
No, you can stay. Just cut this part out.
I'll do what I can.
Okay. And if you need help with editing or it's too hard or something, just... Yeah.
I have crappy-ass editing software, but I'll do what I can. Alright. You were at What's Wrong, Dashy?
Yeah, I know. This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead.
Yeah.
But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. And the science gets done and you make a neat gun for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Mama, are you checking your email? You're taking a while. Well, then maybe you should do this elsewhere or something. Don't know what I'm saying. Why don't you use your iPad?
Because Izzy's on it.
You just got it yesterday, then go upstairs to your computer. You have a laptop up in your room, you should go there. If the internet is not working down here, it is because the downstairs computer sucks. So go up and use the upstairs computer, cause the one down here is really bad. Really bad. Really bad. It's Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody looking forward to the weekend.
I'm not cutting any of this out anymore.
What? This is gonna take forever, though. That's like this long pause where it's just saying this weird still alive thing.
I'll just mention it all in the... I'll put some tags up and mention it to people who are watching that you're about to go into a 2-minute tirade of singing and stuff.
Okay, whatever, bro.
Okay, I am leaving.
She's leaving! Bye-bye. Just a small town girl. Friday, Friday, Friday. What's wrong, Dashi? What's wrong? What's wrong?
The voice has changed, becoming deeper, resonating against her ears stronger and stronger.
Rainbow Dash. Hey, wake up. What's wrong?
Dash's eyes snapped open, and she picked her head up, breathing heavily. Spike stood over her, arms crossed, his expression a mixture of concern and fury.
What the hey is going on here?
Rainbow Dash looked around. She must have fallen asleep while looking out the window, as that was where she was at the moment.
Spike, what do you mean? I mean, why was Twilight all happy-go-lucky one moment, and then tearing through the library, spraying enough water to fill a creek bed the next?
Tearing. Rainbow Dash frowned. She wasn't sure if she'd heard her reptilian compadre correctly. Why would Twilight be crying?
I was right.
What?
I was right. It's tearing, not tearing.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Ugh. Why would Twilight be crying? She should be laughing, or even stomping around angrily. Crying didn't make any sense at all.
Twilight's crying?
Oh, right, I forgot what had happened. She inquired, cocking her head to the side in curiosity.
Yeah, she just about impaled me going up the stairs, then locked herself in our room and started howling. What happened?
The young mare stared down at her hooves. Maybe she'd been too hard on the poor pony. Maybe Dash had taken offense too easily. Perhaps she should have just grinned and bared the joke her friend had attempted.
We had a bit of a fight.
She confided in Spike. Spike's eyes narrowed, then widened with dawning realization.
Oh, what about?
Rainbow hesitated. This subject was quite personal to her.
I'd rather not talk about it, Spike. Sorry.
The young dragon nodded his understanding.
You know, when I get sad, I like to watch the rain out of the windows.
Shit.
It kind of calms me down.
With assurance that he'd be back, the baby dragon wandered off down the hallway. Sighing, Rainbow Dash decided to just go back to her window like Spike suggested. However, on the way there, she spied something on the floor under her dresser. Spike must have missed it when he cleaned up, she thought. She walked over and grabbed it, intending to give it to him upon his return when something written on the parchment caught her eye. What the? The pony placed the paper down on the floor. Page numbers and sentences littered the surface, organized by bullet points. Notes on Twilight's latest project. Dash realized. However, that simple fact hadn't been what the athlete was interested in. Written on the top was the phrase, "Dealing with Love, a Guide for Fools." Curious, Dash sat down on her haunches to read. I guess I'll read this. Unless you want
Yeah.
to. Okay. Dealing with Love, A Guide for Fools. Yeah. By Star Hooves. Note, page 1. Bullet point. One must first admit to one's love for the pony, no matter the problems. Page 2. I'm not entirely sure if it's love, but I feel something for Rainbow Dash, even though she's another mare. Realize that love in all forms and comes in all forms and is not exclusively to sex or pony type. If you love someone, I think that might be able to say some pony, you should not care about these things. Page 3. Funny enough, I don't care that Dash is a mare. In fact, I think I prefer it. For some reason, the thought of her being a colt just doesn't feel right. Bullet point. You must admit your feelings. The only way to know if they are returned is to tell the object of your affections what they mean to you. Page 7. How could I ever tell her what I feel? I don't even know if Dash likes fillies. What if I tell her and she scorns me? What if I don't tell her and nothing happens? It is important to realize that your feelings may not always be returned. If they aren't, you must be able to move on. It is not easy, but it is essential. Page 7. I guess I won't know for sure unless I ask her. Remember, there is no right time to tell your crush your feelings. However, there are wrong times. Try to feel the mood in the air. Page 9. I'm going to have to work on that, aren't I? Perhaps next time the gang gets out together. I just hope I can do it. Bullet point. Show them you pay attention. Get them little things like flowers you picked while walking, or a teddy bunny on a day when they looked glum. Page 12. Or maybe a signed picture of one of the Wonderbolts. Perhaps Princess Celestia can help me with that part. Rainbow Dash sat dumbstruck. This is a lot like building bridges. You were right. Very similar. She glanced over to the no doubt very same autographed photo of Spitfire now sitting on the dresser. The guilt hit her like a ton of bricks. She had completely misjudged her friend. Not only had she smashed Twilight's feelings for her first crush, but Rainbow had also spat in her face while Twilight came out of the closet. Rainbow dropped her head on the floor to the floor with shame, hoping the coolness of the floorboards would comfort her. She remembered a few weeks ago. The gang had gone to the beach. Twilight had asked her repeatedly for time to talk. After Twilight had waved her off the first time with a "never mind," Dash had ignored her, instead focused on her aerial tricks. Then there was dinner. Twilight had been trying to say something after she'd given Dash the photo, but all the Pegasus could think about was how awesome it was to have Spitfire's autograph. Then there was the incident where she'd asked for help with that word. What was it? Paramore? Then the most painful image appeared. Twilight with tears in her eyes as Rainbow Dash tirade her friend for her feelings. There was no excuse, Dash realized. Thinking that Twilight was mocking her was no excuse for being such a jerk. She was one of Rainbow Dash's best friends. Twilight would never do something so cruel. The element of loyalty sure wasn't giving her friends a lot of credit lately, it seemed. I need to talk to her. Dash wasn't sure if she returned Twilight's feelings, but she did know that she owed her an apology. Wow. Twilight was in her bed. The worst of her crying had passed. She simply sobbed quietly to herself, wishing the pain away, hoping the whole situation was just a dream. But it's not, Twilight thought. You just made a complete fool out of yourself, and now one of your best friends hates you. Stuff happens, accept it. The unicorn breathed a deep, if shaky, sigh. There was a rustling in the adjacent room. It had been going on for a few minutes now, and Twilight was becoming curious. Hoofsteps approached from the stairs, coming towards the room. As they drew closer, Twilight heard Spike say,
Rainbow Dash, wait.
Before the sound of multiple papers dropping to the floor reached her ears. The door cracked open, the silhouette of a pony's head peeking inside. Great, Twilight sighed again. Now Dash wants to rub it in my face. Maybe she's going to tell our friends. Anxiously, Twilight pretended to be asleep, hoping to avoid a confrontation. The door closed after a moment. There was a hoof step. A few seconds later came another one. Twilight cracked an eye to see what was happening. Rainbow Dash was on the other side of the room, nervously taking a step every few moments, as if forcing herself forwards. Bewildered, Twilight wondered exactly what Rainbow Dash had to be nervous about. She had made herself quite clear at their last meeting. The Pegasus stopped a few feet short of the bed and reeled back onto her haunches.
Twi?
No response. The Pegasus looked down at the floorboards. Her wings fluttered, nervously.
You probably don't want to talk to me,
she said somberly. Twilight fought the urge to nod in agreement. Maybe Dash would go away soon if she kept her ruse up.
That's okay, though. You don't have to talk back if you don't want to. But I still want to say something.
Now the unicorn was curious. This didn't sound like the same Rainbow Dash who'd angrily dismissed her just an hour or so ago.
So, back when I was in junior speedster flight camp, I had to deal with these jerks who always picked on me. They called me names and teased me because they thought I was a filly fooler.
She paused before adding a slight chuckle.
They were right, of course, but it still hurt. My mom, she heard about it, what they called me. She figured that they needed a reason to call me that, so she started trying to stamp it out of me. My dad didn't care. In fact, all he cared about was the fact that I got kicked out of every camp every year because I'd start fights. When I told him what my mom was doing, he filed for divorce, and he told me there was nothing wrong with me. I hadn't told any pony my secret yet, but it was like he already knew. My dad's kinda cool that way. Anyway, I never told any pony the truth until today. I was worried that you guys would hate me like my classmates did. I probably still wouldn't have said anything today if Fluttershy hadn't pulled me out of it yesterday. When you told me about your feelings, Twi, I thought that you were like them. The bullies at flight camp, that is. The fillies used to make kissy faces at me and tell me that they loved me. They thought they were hilarious. I guess they were. Everyone always laughed at them. I was only feeling sorry for myself when Spike woke me up. But then I found this under the dresser in the guest room.
She set a piece of paper down on the floor near Twilight.
What if I tell her and she scorns me? Twi?
She said sadly.
I saw tears in your eyes when I was yelling. I didn't care at the time, but Spike told me that you were crying. Twi, I'm sorry I've been a real jerk, and the worst element of loyalty ever.
Twilight could sense Dash fumbling for words. She'd obviously put a lot of thought into this apology. It was time to speak up. She opened her teary eyes and sat up. Rainbow took a nervous step backwards.
Dash, you are far from the worst element of loyalty ever. In fact, I'd say you're the best one ever. It takes a lot of courage to apologize like you just did. I know I went a little crazy in the guest room.
Twilight smiled meekly at the statement, and a blush hidden amongst the darkness.
And I'm sorry I dragged up bad memories for you.
The Cyan Pony seemed to relax a little, even taking a step forward.
So, you forgive me?
She asked nervously. Twilight wrapped her friend in a warm embrace.
Of course I do, Rainbow. I wasn't sad because of what you said. I was sad because I thought you hated me.
Dash scoffed a little at the statement as Twilight released her.
Me? Hate you? Well, maybe a little bit earlier, but you'll always be one of my best friends. See, the element of loyalty if I ever saw her, willing to stay friends even after she thinks she's been mocked.
Twilight said half-jokingly. A smile slowly formed on Rainbow's countenance.
So, I was thinking, Twi.
She said, nervousness returning to her voice.
About what?
The unicorn frowned. She thought they'd resolved the issue. The Pegasus studied her hooves as they made a circle on the floor.
Well, about what you said earlier, I was wondering if maybe you'd want to go out with me sometime. I mean, if you're still interested.
Twilight had to fight to keep her jaw from dropping to the planet core and melting upon contact with the magma. After all this, Rainbow Dash was asking her out. On a date? She studied the cyan pony for a moment, her wings once again fluttering nervously, tail twitching. She was even too afraid to make eye contact. Twilight leaned forward and nuzzled her friend gently.
I'd love to, Rainbow. Yay, it's a happy ending, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was interesting, because I have seen this many, many, many times, in which Rainbow Dash, someone reveals their love to Rainbow Dash, and Rainbow Dash thinks they're getting bullied. That happened in The Party Hasn't Ended. Well, sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
And that also happened in Fading Kellers.
Is that what... No, that's not what happened to Rocket to Insanity. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, that was just...
No. What happened was Rainbow Dash, yeah. Not sure I want to talk about that. Yeah, so that was... bien. I thought that there was some parts where they were thinking a lot. I probably should have read the thoughts.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but I remembered that the first few thoughts I just ended up reading over, and I didn't want to...
can't change it in the middle.
Yeah, I didn't want to go in consistently, so my bad about that. Usually I have people... anyways, again, this was Trust by the Incredible Blunderbolt.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody looking forward to the weekend. I'm in the friend zone, I'm in the friend zone, I'm in the friend zone, now I'm in the friend zone. We didn't start the flame war, 'cause the flame has been burning since the world's been turning. Ba 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 da ba da ba, ba ba da ba da ba ba da bow. And then it's... oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, you didn't. And then it's... my big brother, best friends forever. Like two peas in a pod, we did everything together. And then, yeah, that's it, more or less.
The organ in that song is just fantastic.
The organ?
Yeah, and Big Brother, Best Friend Forever.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I missed some of those trills in my piano, but whatever.
Yeah.